Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really cool framework that's all about guiding an organization, no matter the size, through the pretty complicated journey of adopting AI. Okay, so let's just dive right in with a question that, a lot of business leaders are probably asking themselves right now. It feels a little backward, doesn't it? But there's a really good reason for it. The source material actually has a name for this, the AI adoption paradox. And it's this super interesting, kind of weird pattern where individual employees are running circles around the giant companies they work for when it comes to using this tech. And this slide really just lays it all out, plain and simple. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got individuals. They're like speedboats, right? They can experiment, fail fast, and just try stuff out. On the other side, you have the organizations. They're more like aircraft carriers. They're powerful, but they're held back by approvals, security risks, and this massive challenge of plugging new technology into clunky old systems. So this whole paradox, it's not just some interesting observation, it's a huge challenge. But here's the good news. There is a way to bridge this gap, and the solution is all about having a structured, intentional roadmap. And here it is. This slide gives us a perfect bird's eye view of the 4 key phases of that journey. We're going to walk through this whole thing together, step by step, from laying that very first brick in the foundation phase all the way to becoming a completely AI-driven organization. So let's get into phase 1. This is all about setting up that essential groundwork. You got to learn to speak the language of AI before you can start writing the company's new playbook, right? The whole journey kicks off with Stage 1, what they call the hello world moment. This is where you just have to get your hands dirty. It's the sandbox phase. And it's not just about, playing around with tools. It's about your team getting genuinely comfortable and building a real gut-level understanding of what models like GPT or Claude can actually do for them. Then from there, you're ready to move on to Stage 2, learning to crawl with AI. Now, crawling is so important because it gets you past just the flashy models and into the tech that really makes them powerful, things like retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. All that really means is you're giving the AI a secure key to your own company's data. And that's the secret sauce that turns a fun demo into a seriously useful tool that understands your business.
And to wrap up this foundational phase,
We have Stage 3, which is all about strategy. This is where the experimentation starts to get a real purpose. You begin building these small-scale proofs of concept, not just to see what AI can do, but to test its value against your specific business problems. It makes sure you're building for a reason. Okay, so let's see how this all builds into phase 2. The foundation is poured, and now it's time to turn that strategy into a real plan of action. And this phase kicks off with Stage 4. Get the big picture. This is your zoom out moment. You have to stop thinking about one-off projects and start mapping out how AI can touch every single part of your business, from the customer service chatbots all the way to your internal data and analytics. Following that is Stage 5, where you learn to walk with AI. And walking really means moving forward together. The focus here shifts to serious collaboration between your teams. Your tech folks and your business folks have to be totally in sync on the goals, the rules, and exactly how you're going to measure whether this stuff is actually working. And that leads us to a really critical step. Stage 6, stand up for the future. Okay, this is where the theory stops and the real work starts. You're not just planning anymore, you're doing it. And that means you have to tackle the really hard stuff, like all that technical debt, which is basically just the baggage from your old systems, and, of course, that natural human resistance to big changes. Now, in phase 3, there's a huge shift in mindset. Your company stops just doing AI projects here and there, and it starts the much deeper work of becoming a truly AI-native organization. This all kicks off with Stage 7, thrive in the AI era. And thriving means you scale up what's already working. You take those successful little pilot projects and you roll them out big time, across the whole business. You're building smarter customer experiences and using AI to make better decisions internally. And then the ambition gets even bigger. In Stage 8, where the goal is literally to transform. At this point, AI isn't just another tool you pull out of the toolbox. No, it's becoming part of your company's DNA. It's baked into how your teams think, how they build, and how they solve problems for everyone.
But here's the thing. This transformation is never really done.
And that brings us to stage 9, iterate with AI. This is such a key insight. True AI maturity is not a destination you arrive at. It's a continuous loop of getting better. This stage is all about building those feedback loops, using data, using what you've learned to constantly make your models, your processes, and your whole strategy smarter. Okay, let's move on to the final phase. This is all about reaching that top tier of excellence and fully embracing an AI-driven future. Not as a temporary project, but as just how you operate. This final phase starts with Stage 10, and it's all about how you keep the momentum. Because, success doesn't just happen on its own. This stage is about putting the right systems in place. We're talking clear metrics, proactive monitoring, and constant check-ins to make sure you're aligned with business goals, all to ensure that progress doesn't just fizzle out. And finally, we get to Stage 11. The leap into the AI era. This is it. This is the destination. AI is no longer something you just use. It's your co-creator. It's your insight engine. It is a core driver of value. At this point, you are building things that were flat out impossible before. So, if there's one thing to take away from this entire roadmap, it's summed up perfectly in this quote. This isn't about flipping some magic switch. It is a continuous, never-ending journey of learning, tweaking, and innovating. This whole framework really is a compass, not just a map. So the final question really isn't for us, it's for you. It's something for you and your team to think about. After seeing all of this laid out, where does your journey begin?